All right, so here is the state of the old pedal board here at the end of 2021, such as it stands. Starting with ye old guitar. This is the old trusty TMG Telecaster. I love a Telecaster guitar. It's got an in-house humbucker here in the bridge. It's got a Lindy Fralin, what's it called? Twang Master. It's like a single coil sounding humbucker, like kind of a wide range almost sort of thing. Sounds real twangy. I really like that. Running stereo into a Morgan RCA 35 on the left. That's with a creamback speaker, 212. And then on the right is a Victory V40. It's the DP40. It's the purple one. This purple is awesome. But it's, I don't use the reverb on it, so it's a V40. It's the same thing, aside from the reverb. And that's going into a V30 speaker, Celestion Vintage 30. And I love that combination. That sounds like, let's see, where can I go there? It sounds like this. And then the Twang Master. Bixby. There you go. Onto the board itself. This is a Temple Audio, I think it's called a Trio 21. It's 18 inches high, which is really part of why I picked this board. I like 3 vertical rows. I'm just OCD enough not to want to turn any of them sideways. And there aren't that many boards that are 18 inches high that aren't gigantic. And part of why I picked this one is because actually these side plates here, you can see next to my flamingo socks, you can take them off, and they have this metal piece is kind of like aluminum and it's got a bunch of holes in it. And so I actually cut it to where it's a square 18 by 18. And then if you know anything about Temple boards, you can kind of put in little ports on the side to fit your needs. So input jack, left and right out, that goes into a sum box to sum the signal to mono, which the Mastermind can do remotely if I want it to. And I've discovered after all of years of having that I pretty much never want to. I play in stereo so often that it's really hard to go play in mono. So I'm totally a spoiled brat. I get it. So, and then there's the power there. And then this is a USB input jack that connects to my computer. And then underneath connects to a hub that connects USB up to the Mastermind, the Ventris, and the Nemesis. So I can use the Source Audio computer software to manage these presets. I can use the Mastermind software to manage that, all from the computer with one plug. And that was a goal, which is part of why I kind of stay in this universe, because these guys talk via USB instead of via MIDI and like a connector like the Strymons do. They all sound good, so that works for me and has been for a while now. And then controlling everything with the, so from the input jack, we go straight to the Mastermind 6X. I'm going to do, a separate video of kind of like how I set up all my buttons and stuff, like not necessarily the technical part unless you want that, but I kind of wish more people would, share ideas on the Mastermind, because it can do so much. It's fun to be able to talk about, like, well, what does your first page look like and your second page, and how do you navigate between pages and all that. So I won't cover that here. This will be more about sounds. So we're into the Mastermind. I configured the second input. You can configure it in the software to be a tuner out, and that goes to the little Sonic Research mini turbo tuner here. So even if I'm muting it, it's going to read the tuner signal no matter if my signal is live or not, which is what I wanted, and finding out the Mastermind could do that was awesome sauce. So that's that. And then all the loops in the 6X are able to be rearranged digitally on the fly, which I don't do super often, but I like having the option. Like if I have a new drive on the board, I want to see, does it stack better in this order or this order kind of thing. Compressor before or after a drive. I use it a lot with the POG because I use the POG for swells. So if I'm using the POG for anything octavey, then I leave it toward the front of the chain, but if I have it for swelling, then I'll switch it to be the last loop in the chain so that all the others, except for the chorus or something, comes before it, which is really good. So the order doesn't matter. I used to try and keep the loops in order, and now I don't care as much. So this way I actually laid the order out kind of in order of where they are on the board. So the loops go kind of up and over. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then that's the insert, which is set up as mono in, stereo out to deal with the chorus there. And then we come out of the Mastermind stereo and then into the Nemesis stereo, then out here stereo, in here stereo, and then out to the outputs over there. So these two pedals don't live in loops, but MIDI tells them when to be on and not. And it's rare that I have both of them off. Like I will turn either one of them off depending on the circumstances, but it's rare that I keep both off. So I've got one or the other on. So that's enough blah, blah, blah about that. The first loop is not for any reason, but the first loop happens to be this Lofi Machine little bit crusher thing. I use it the least. It's kind of like the fun pedal, because who doesn't want to make like Nintendo sounds once in a while, you know what I mean? Now I stuck this big horsey knob on there so I can do it with my foot to make it feel worse. Right. Then we're on to the Pog 2, longest running piece of gear on the board there. You know, it's like I said, I'll use it for swells instead of a volume pedal. We've done that forever. And then I have a bunch of presets set up because I modded it with a little MIDI thing that makes it MIDI controllable so the Mastermind can talk to its presets and stuff. So when I hit these, you can kind of see the little preset light over there bouncing around, changing presets. And so I'll use it for all that stuff. And I think these labels are still pretty much accurate. Although, public service announcement, if you want to stick label maker tape on your pedal, it may tear the graphics off. That's what happened to mine. Because I tried to take those off, and where it said Pog 2 just looks like white, you know, scratchiness. Drop my pick, sorry. But, you know, it's all kind of the standard stuff. So we've got like a +1 octave. -1, a little of both. And that's the swell setting there. Just set to wherever feels the most natural to me. This one sets up as a boost, which I don't use that much. This is some crazy synth thing, which actually sounds cool. Anyway, that's that. Where are we at? Moving up to the top here, we've got the TonePress. I'll use my guitar again to point because I can't reach. TonePress compressor. It's the first compressor I ever owned, was the big one, the big square one. And then I sold it, much to my later chagrin, and bought a bunch of other compressors that I tried in between, including a different mini one. So I think I went, I don't even know. It doesn't matter. But now I've come full circle. I've landed back on this, and I really think and hope that my compressor journey is all done now. Back where I started. Sometimes you have to take the journey to get there, but whatever. I love how simple it is. I love the blend of the clean. I'll occasionally use it by itself. Like, it boosts a little bit, but it just does the compressor thing, adds some sustain and whatever. So kind of coming back to that. So I'll pretty much only use that as like a first stage thing these days, and I don't compress after that. So, but that sound, I was kind of trying to get the first stage to do what I wanted it to do as a clean by itself, so it could just be that in the amps. And there's some like parts and songs where that seems to work, but a lot of times I find myself wanting a little more grit. And these days, that's what I'm using the Icarus for, which is a boost, but it adds some hair also, if you will. And so clean to Icarus. So not much, just a little bit of hair, which adds some nice sparkle. And so what I've been doing the most often for like a first stage anything has pretty much been the Icarus plus the compressor. It cuts through a mix when it needs to, especially for like single note, more, like I said, first stage ambient stuff. But there's enough on it to where you can strum chords with it too if you need to. All really useful for that. After that is the next drive kind of level I have is this spot right here, which is been the more in flux than anything lately. I just keep trying different stuff there, seeing what happens. And I'd used the Tumnus Deluxe before, but just actually really recently I just stuck it back on there. I'm going through all these other pedals and just trying stuff again. And I just, you know, when I set it up not clonny, like when I stop thinking about it like a clon and being like, you have to run the level really high and you have to run the gain really low. It's like, that's not true, actually. So I just ran it like I would any drive pedal in that, and I just really like the drive sound I'm getting out of it. It's so like focused and in your face. I mean, that's a great drive sound. At least for my rigs and pickups. So I feel like this is gonna sit there for a minute, but I always say that. It's really touch responsive too. Man, that's ridiculous. And that plus your volume knob. And that's a pretty big shift. Lots of dynamic range, which I really like. I will stack that again once I hit this point of gain. I'm not putting a compressor on it either. The gain kind of does enough in my opinion. So this point later, I'm compressors off. And then so I will stack that with the Icarus. It's not super different, but it's different. You can hear it add a little bit of different. That's Tumnus into Icarus. And like I said, I may flip the loops and try that the other way too, which I haven't done yet. So I will do that occasionally when I need like a little bit more. Next gain stage is here. You know I love rats. I always have some kind of rat going, and this is my most bestest, favoritist rat that there is, the least that I've played so far. Record previously held by the Woodcutter. Shout out to Big Ear, because I love that one. But man, something about having independent low and high control on a rat has been pretty magical to me. And whatever voodoo they put in this swamp switch, it just adds this extra layer of clarity that I really like. And the range of a rat is what impresses me the most, because you can dial it back to like an overdrive that's even less aggressive than the Tumnus I just played. And then, you know, of course you get distortion territory, and if you just turn all the knobs up, it gets super much like a fuzz, but that's controllable with lows and highs. So I love it, and it will not be long until I make a board where every drive stage is a rat. It's coming, probably next year. But, you know, tons of gain, tons of sustain. I think this is set up somewhere between distortion and fuzz territory. love rats. Where do we go after this? After this, we are to the chorus pedal. I picked up this Boss Waza CE2 that I use on the CE1 setting. And I guess in this pedal, they kind of added back in the old CE1 circuit, because I guess that circuit doesn't exist in a small format. And I just really like that one. It's set up pretty warbly at the moment. But especially running in stereo, you can hear that field widen as soon as you turn it on. Apparently I need to tune, so I'll do that while I talk about this chorus. It's pretty simple, and it's been good so far. I think my only beef with it is I wish it had, at least to me, there's like a perceived slight volume drop when you engage it. It's probably just in my head. But anyway, it's a chorus, and I like chorus. That's the end of the loops in the Mastermind, and then we come out of that into the delay and reverb. You guys know what delays and reverbs do, but you know, they just have all the things. So I have a million delay presets on there, different flavors and characters and all that. And then there's also some rhythmic stuff. I actually used to use a delay for a chorus. That's a pretty great sounding chorus for actually not being a chorus and being a delay. So that's pretty good. And then a bunch of rhythm settings and stuff. I have one that I actually just use to widen the sound a little bit. So that's just kind of a rhythmic dotted 8. Kind of in the background, but compare that to this. So it's not delayed, it's just delayed just enough to kind of offset the two sides. It's like kind of sticking a delay on a console. On one side, it just kind of, again, widens the field a little bit. So like, again, without it. So I'll use that a lot of times when I get to like a big rhythm section of the song to just kind of widen it out like that with whatever drives and stuff I'm using. That's a fun way that I've used to delay lately. And then the reverb, there's just a whole bunch of, I kind of got the basic room setting. Like if the reverb's on and needs to be out of the way, it just adds a little bit of width to the whole thing instead of... If you have headphones on, you can hear the difference it makes. A little bigger. This is kind of like a out of the way long tail. This one's just pretty long. It's your super long tail. I got like a really short kind of short-tailed dome thing. I like that with like a fuzz or something. And then I've got like drone settings and stuff for this kind of... there's a bunch of other on there like that too, just for delay and reverb. And then of course there are, you know, you got some swell settings and stuff for the ambience. One that uses a chorus, which is fun. And then I have one where I add a gain stage to it also. Actually, this one is an old version that's probably way too gainy. Not way too gainy. It's the hyper aggressive swell, so that's a thing too. And then just like some you know, ambient presets and stuff. Fun stuff. Like I said, after that, it just kind of, I got this little kind of bank switch. It was an old This One's Mine thing, just to add 2 more buttons to the Mastermind to kind of do whatever. And I mostly use them just to like, you know, either page up through pages of stuff or use it to like kind of go down in the set list to the next song kind of thing. Jump to a page where this is kind of like a flow page where I can just roll with whatever's happening or tap stuff or whatever. So that's there, but I'll explain that in the other video. So I think that's it. So there you go. Hit some comments down below if you've got them, some questions. I'll be happy to answer them. And that's it.